The story begins in the city of Beijing, China, where bus number 375 was the last ride of the day. The bus was supposed to make a short loop and then return to the station. Since it was the last bus, it was running late, around 11:30 p.m. to midnight. Usually for these late-night trips in China, there's an additional person who travels with the driver to organize the trips and make sure the tickets are valid, kind of like a conductor. On this particular night, the conductor was a woman. As the bus started its journey, 3 passengers boarded, a young single man and a couple riding together. The bus continued its route, and the weather was cold, with everyone quietly waiting to reach their destination and head home. Suddenly, the bus slammed on the brakes so hard that all the passengers were jolted forward, hitting the seats in front of them. The bus had stopped in the middle of the road because 2 strange figures were waving at the bus, signaling the driver to stop so they could board. The driver, frustrated by the sudden stop and the way the strangers were signaling him, didn't want to stop in the middle of the road. It was against the rules for the bus to stop anywhere other than at designated stations. Of course, everyone expected the driver to get angry, yell at them, or just drive off, but what happened was the opposite. The driver looked at them shocked with his mouth open as the 2 strangers boarded the bus, and suddenly there were 3 of them, not just 2 like the passengers had seen. As soon as they entered and the passengers saw them, they realized why the driver had looked so surprised. The 2 strange figures were carrying a third person with a stiff face, and they looked very strange and terrifying. The oddest part was that these 2 people were wearing traditional Chinese clothing, which no one wore at that time. The 3 of them continued standing silently in the bus without saying a word, and they walked to the last row where they sat down with the third person placed between them. All the other passengers in the bus were staring at them, terrified, especially the woman sitting in front of them, who kept trying to reassure them, indicating that there was nothing to fear. Minutes passed, and the married couple said they wanted to get off at the next stop. They exited, leaving behind the young man, the elderly woman, and the 3 strangers, in addition to the driver and the conductor. The strange part was that the elderly woman, who had been trying to reassure everyone that everything was fine, seemed increasingly uneasy. She kept glancing behind her, sensing that these people were not human. In her terror, she suddenly jumped up, grabbed the young man who was sitting alone, and started shouting, "Thief! Thief! You stole my wallet! You took my money! Give me my wallet, you thief!" The young man, stunned and confused, tried to defend himself, saying, "What do you mean, thief? I'm sitting right in front